Hey guys, what is going on? It is me, Wifies, and today I'm going to be doing my second entry for Mumbo Jumbo's Redstone inside Redstone contest. And basically this is, if you guys remember, this was my first attempt where you could order anything you wanted, and that was pretty cool because it had a lot of different contraptions in it. But this is my second, and before I begin, I'm just going to say thank you so much for the massive support on my previous video and attempt. It really helps, and today I'm going to try with no music because my music was too loud. I'm very sorry about that, and I do have to learn how to keep it under control a little. But without further ado, here is the contraption in all of its glory. It is huge compared to the other ones, and people are making it like tiny, one wide, 1x1 door, inside a 2x2 door, inside of a 3x3 door, inside of a 4x4 door. I mean, inside of a 3x3 door, but I took it one step further and added a 4x4 door. So here we go. And we got 4x4, and the extension and retraction for 4x4 are pretty fast. So you just wait a second, and then bam, that was really cool right there. And 3x3, a bit slower on the putting back. It's kind of slow on the opening too, but there we go, kind of an L-shaped left. And if you look at it, that block gets retracted, and double extension. There we go. Now 2x2 door is pretty simple. This was not a very hard one to make. Just half of the 4x4. Well, somewhat without these two blocks. And finally, the 1x1 door. So, if that's all you guys want to see, thank you so much for watching. The world download is down in the description. And peace out, guys. Okay, and if you didn't want to stop there, and because we're going to be looking right now at the tutorial and how this thing actually functions. So, let's take a look at the 1x1 first, because this is the easiest. Basically, 1x1 goes into this. There's a block here with redstone dust, and that goes into a T flip-flop, which goes into an observer, which goes into a repeater, which goes into a block with a sticky piston on top. And that's pretty simple, and that's a retraction. So, nothing complicated there. 2x2 goes over here, down and over here, everything blue wool, down and under, up here, and into another T flip-flop, and that does my circuit, and that goes onto my circuit for these two blocks, for these 4 blocks right here. That's my circuit on how to retract those, and there's an identical one on the other side, but only one is used because we only need 2x2. Basically, how this works is that we have rising edge and falling edge monostable circuits. And on the rising edge, you can see that we have over here. So rising edge, what happens first is just a singular extension, which is this right here. So it's a singular extension, so these blocks get retracted. And then right afterwards, a few ticks later, these blocks get retracted. I mean, this piston. So this happens first, that's the retraction, so it lines up with top piston. So that retracts the blocks. And then this one, a few ticks later, same thing on the bottom here. That retracts these ones, so the blocks get pulled in here, and then they go up and down. And afterwards, we have the double extension, which is a bit delayed, so we got 4 ticks, and there we go in. So 4 ticks and into here, the double extension. Now on the falling edge, so it gets pushed out once again, and so the blocks here. So, because like now it looks like this, and there's a row of all 4 blocks. It looks like this. Wait. Okay, that's how it looks. So these 2 get pushed out, because that's what happens first. These 2 get pushed in again, so from the corner, so right now it looks like that. And then, instead of a double extension, because I didn't want a double extension, so that's why I only have it rising edge, because if it happened on falling edge, then it would happen again. And basically on falling edge, what happens, it's that another regular singular extension of this piston. So the blocks and the piston basically all get pushed one forward, so they end up being here. And then that piston retracts because it is monostable, but there's a few extra ticks so that it won't be just like spitting out its piston. And I hope that makes sense. There's an identical one over here, and that's how 2x2 is done. Now before I go to 3x3, because that was the hardest, I'm going to go back to 4x4. So 4x4 is an exactly mirrored circuit on the other side for the thing, for the 2x2. and then it goes up on top though. The only difference, it goes up on top and activates these 4 pistons. And you notice this one's a bit different, because if we had all 4 for 3x3, then it'd be like that. But we need this one to stay in for 3x3, which is why this piston extender with 2 repeaters is only accessible to the 4x4 door. And that's how that works. And so here's over to the other circuit, so that goes into here for the other 2x2, and finally that goes down into here for the final 3 observers, and it also, so 3 observers, and this final one right here. So that's how all of those are powered. And finally, so this one was pretty simple, just all the bottom ones, all the top ones, and 2 2s. And finally, the hardest part, this was the 3x3 door, because let's see if you guys still watch what happens when I open it. So you can see that everything gets opened up, and then the whole thing for 2x2 happens, but then the block gets spat back out, so it kind of looks like that, with the 2 blocks stored away. And when you close it, you can see these 2 get retracted back, and then it's the exact closing circuit. So let me try to explain how this works. So for 3x3, it sets in a signal to this one and not to that piston, so all of these turn on. And so this part is did I break something? So that part is basically all done. So this here is basically all done. And the hardest part was doing these 2 blocks right here, because they're problematic. I could have done double piston extension, but it would be super tight at the bottom, and I couldn't do that with storage. So here's what I did instead. So 3x3 runs down here, and there's, again, a T flip-flop with falling edge and rising edge. So there's 2 different things, one on the closing and one on the opening. And basically it's the exact same events, but the order is reversed, because that's a pretty cool video. And I will be doing a video later, or I think later in the week, maybe a bit earlier than Sunday, but I will be doing a video on falling edge, rising edge, and how to use them accordingly, but this is just a quick brief of how I used it. So here for the rising edge, what happens, actually right now it's in the off position. So let's just say what happens when you flick it. So this one turns off so nothing happens, but this redstone torch turns on, sending a signal into this hopper, so I'm on a stable circuit pretty much. And that goes into this repeater, which goes into here, so pretty fast, 6 ticks of delay. And that goes into here, so retracting the whole 2x2 section. But that's still going to give us a weird opening, so we need 3x3. And that would pretty much look like that, which is not a 3x3 door. We need it to be like this. So what I did was, all I had to do was to extend 1 piston back out, because if you remember, the closing of the 2 looked like that. So all I had to do was extend this piston, and it would look like this. But the problem was, if I retracted, so what happens is that 2x2, so 2x2 happens first, and then this piston gets extended. But on the closing, if 2x2 happened first, then it would sort of break, and because the blocks were in the wrong location. So I had to get the blocks back to the correct place, which is why on the rising edge, so when we hit the button again after everything has happened, and the other output has like a lot of ticks, and it goes into a T flip-flop that sends a pulse into this right here, so it extends. But on the other edge, this one, so after we flick the button twice, then it will send another pulse, this time with extra delay, so that the 2x2 doesn't go first, but with no delay up here, so that this gets retracted first. And that way we have a perfect 3x3 opening. So I'll try to do that. So you can see it switches. That one turns on. You can see it goes, and then it pushes it right back. And the pulses are really close, but on the closing it's a bit slow. But you can still see that changes first, so that retracts it back, and then the 2x2 goes, pushing it back in because everything's in the correct position. And that's how I figured out doing this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and if you really loved it, make sure to subscribe. But thank you guys so much for watching. This has been me, Wifies, and I'm out. I'll see you next time. Peace.